Hey everyone, welcome back to the Food Forest. Now it's been a while since I made a video and we had a little bit of a family emergency. My father was actually in the hospital ICU for like 2 weeks, I think 3 weeks. And you know, hospital event, you kind of drop everything and just focus on the stuff that really matters in your life. I did make a community post about my father being in the hospital, and by the way, he's actually recovered. He actually made it out of there and he's back. So he had a couple surgeries, some bunch of blood transfusions. Anyways, I'm just trying to get caught back up with my real life back home and collecting all the food and, you know, getting on top of stuff, garden maintenance that I have to get done. What we'll do today is we'll just kind of do a quick little walk around. I'll tell you about the last couple weeks while I walk around and just check out the food forest. So thanks everyone for the super kind words and blessings that you guys all put on our family. It really meant a lot. It was a really tough week, very hard week, and it got me through it for sure. So thank you very much. You guys are just the best. Honestly, I must be doing something right if I'm attracting that type of person to watch my channel. So you guys are just amazing. All right, let's go check out the food forest. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the pond. So here's what the pond looks like when I don't do anything to it in a month. So you get a little bit of buildup of algae, but overall, you know, not too bad. Everything's fairly low maintenance actually. Kind of the way that I plant is plant perennials and let them kind of do their whole entire lifespan, because that's what we want to have happen. So I'm also going to do this video just kind of very rough. I'm not going to edit it much because I kind of don't have time, but this is something that I've been using a lot in the last couple weeks. Is just this Pear Picker. So it is basically just a garden fork with a bug net, and the bug net got holes from overuse, so I just taped a hat in there, and then we've attached it to this long piece of conduit pipe, and I can attach other ones on as well. And then I can get up and I can pick all the nice pears from way up high. So we're right in pear season now, and we've been eating probably too many pears than a human should eat in the last couple weeks. But they're unbelievable. Every time I go through one of these harvest seasons where something's in harvest, I always think that's my favorite fruit, right? Pears are my favorite fruit. Peaches are my favorite fruit. We're coming into apples, and I'll just kind of show you here. We've got the apple tree. We've been eating a lot of this, and any fallen fruit gets composted and given to the chickens as well. There's basically no waste in nature, and everything is just finishing its life cycle. So there's the peaches, this pear that got girdled. If anyone wants a little update on that, it is likely gonna die. Because the sapwood is in a different location than where the sap comes up in the early spring. It usually comes up more through the middle of the tree, and at the end of the season all the energy goes down through the outside of the tree, closer to the bark. And because of that, that tree that got girdled could actually survive the spring, but not so much right now, the fall. So it's probably a goner, and we will get rid of it in the spring next year, and we'll try to replace it. This pear tree here has been our most productive pear, and I would say it put on 80 plus pears this year. I can't even describe how many pears I've been pulling. And what we did was we were just waiting until we saw some on the ground, and we would go and pick them up, and then we would start to harvest the other ones. And usually when fruit starts falling on the ground, that's when you know that it's ready for harvest. So pears especially, if you pick them a little bit early, you gotta let them blet and ripen for quite a while. If you get them right at the perfect moment, they are like the best thing ever for about 2 weeks. And the peach tree, I don't know if you guys remember, we had a really bad windstorm, and coupled with a huge set of fruit last year, and these peach trees, I thinned like 80% of the fruit, maybe even 90% off, and it was still too much. And then we had a windstorm that came and took out some massive branches, so bad that I thought that they were not going to survive at all. It was so devastating to this tree. This tree basically lost half of its canopy. And then just spinning to the other side, this tree also lost half of its canopy. And both of them, I think, are like just humming along, loving life. You can see really, really bad damage. But overall, the tree's been doing fantastic. And if anyone's wondering what that white paint is, it's not actually like an acrylic paint. Some people will put a white acrylic paint. This one's actually a limestone chalk, and it is basically just up where we are when it's really, really cold in the winter time. What happens is in the day, like right now, it's actually really, really warm, and the sun is hitting the tree. And then in the nighttime, when it gets really cold, like we're already hitting below freezing here, and when it gets really cold, the delta in the temperature swing for that tree in a 24-hour period is just too extreme, and it'll actually crack just from thermal expansion. So what the white does is it actually helps keep the daytime temperatures a little bit lower, so that the delta between day and night is a little bit smaller, and then you don't have that big shrink contraction that cracks the tree. So it's just to help the trees crack. What can happen with peaches especially is when they crack, they can get fungal diseases and stuff like gummosis, where that'll kind of take the tree out for good. It's one of the reasons why peaches are kind of in zone 4 or 5 where I am. Peaches are kind of really hard to grow. That's one of the reasons why. But these ones here, I think, what are they now? 6 or 7 years old, maybe 8 years old, the actual tree itself, because you buy it like it's 2 years old. And they've actually done really well. So I just had a ladybug land on my nose, which is good. We see a lot of ladybugs going. They're finding their ways into the house and kind of trying to overwinter in our house. Drives my wife a little nuts, but I kind of try to let that happen because they're so valuable. And in the house, they kind of eat other things. It's like a spider in the house. You know, it's not really a pest. You shouldn't clean it up. It's like a spider, bro, right? You gotta give home to the insects that eat the other insects that maybe you don't want. You allow a spider and a ladybug to maybe live in your house, and then you've actually got little insects inside your house that will eat the things that you don't want. Look. Now there's two types of ladybugs. These ones here are, I believe, technically an invasive ladybug, but they do actually still do their job, and I'm not going to spray and kill them. So here's the rest of the food forest. These other peaches are doing all right. This one here started to lean a bit. I'll probably try to straighten it out a little bit. Usually I'll be walking around the food forest dealing with that kind of stuff, but in the last month, that kind of stuff just hasn't been happening. And this is the new section of the food forest. A lot of the trees that I'm pushing zone on, like the figs, for example, they're just basically completely dormant now. And we've got some heart nuts and butternuts that are doing really well. And we've got some mulberries that are doing pretty good. And this multi-graft pear, oh, let me talk about the multi-graft pear in a second. Check out that wasp nest. Is that not nuts? See if I can get you up closer to the nest. Is that not crazy? Huge wasp nest. So some people might want to take that down, right? But wasps are actually really, really beneficial insects in the garden. They are really good at keeping tomato hornworms down, especially parasitoid wasps, I think they're called. They basically lay eggs in the hosts, and then they'll hatch, and they'll kind of eat the thing alive from the inside. It's really funky and crazy. This multi-graft pear, I had like 30 pears on it. And then one day I checked it at night. I was letting the dogs out, and Lucy comes running back and forth through here. I'll show you in a sec. And then I came back in the morning and they were all gone, and half the tree was gobbled down. So I think we actually had a deer come right into our front lawn, and it ate every single pear off of this. I couldn't believe how many pears were on here, and because I wasn't thinning them, maybe the deer actually did me a favor. You can see down in here, you know, everywhere I just sneak stuff. So down in there, we got so many wine cap mushrooms inoculated in the shade of this flowering dogwood tree, and that patch has done so well over the last little while. Now here's an area of the garden I kind of do a comfrey border to keep the grasses creeping in, and you can see how well that works. So if you want to take another lesson from this video, a comfrey border, you know, I can't do it any more justice than this picture here. This is 2 years in, so Bermuda grass has had lots of chance to try to creep in, and it can't get through the comfrey. Lucy barrels through here though whenever anyone walks down, and she takes the same path every day. So we used to have a tree here that she would kind of run over. We moved them just to the side so that maybe in the future she'll run through like a bit of an arch of trees, but she's telling me she wants to run down here, so I better listen or she will take out everything that we're planting. We've been getting another load of chips so that we're ready to go for whenever we want to chop up any wood chips. And I also inoculated those with wine cap mushrooms on the edges. You can see this line cut through the Jerusalem artichokes here, and this is where Lucy comes ripping back and forth like a typewriter. When someone walks down our street here, Lucy just goes back and forth like a maniac. So I think we'll leave it there. That's a, I don't know, 11-12 minute long video so far, and I will go inside, I'll upload this, and just want to say thanks again everyone that did see my community post. The words of kindness and love were very well received. I read every single one of them, and it really made a huge difference. You know, I was going through a lot, potentially losing my father. For the last surgery, we had 3 surgeries. For the last one, the doctor kind of told us, you know, you might as well say everything you need to say because it's very unlikely that he'll survive. We're really close, like our family's really close. And I think one of the hardest things about growing up is watching your parents get old. I think that's probably the hardest thing. So, sorry, it's been a tough 3 weeks. But consider, you know, making sure that the people that you love, make sure they know how much you love them. Anyways, I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys on the next one.